This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Hey there, it's Brian Sebastian, movie reviews and more. And as always, it's Tuesday. It's always Giving Tuesday. And as always, since it's the new year, this is 187 live shows in a row, episode 9. And obviously, it's streaming on Talk4 Media, K4 HD Radio, Talk4 TV, and streaming on over 100 outlets around the world. So the reason why people haven't heard from me a lot the last couple of days, because I'm exhausted from just doing all the stuff that I've been doing, and I think everybody else is feeling it too, except maybe Linda Steele, because she works out all the time, and she's always in gym ready, and Terry also. But since I'm not doing that, lifting up my luggage and putting it on Delta, and Carol knows about that, it's not easy flying. And since Carol's in Seoul, she gets to introduce her friend today, because her friend, Dr. Natasha, has been saying, when are we going to get her on the show? And I said, well, let me find a date. We had to find a date. Same thing with Mark Carter. Well, when can I get on the show? Mark, it's been 4 months. He knows that because we talked about it. And then Paul I threw into the mix, and that's why we're always busy doing stuff. Rachel is exhausted because she and I were talking at 3 o'clock in the morning, West Coast time. And what I don't know how to do, I don't know how to be on world time or else yet. And for time zones in the USA, or else I'd be talking to Carol in Seoul, Korea. But I can't talk to South Korea, China, Brazil, London, Greece, Switzerland at the same time when I'm supposed to be sleeping. And that's why I got bags underneath my eyes and I'm wearing these dark glasses. But here's the thing that we're doing. This is an exciting show because you all are important with what you do. And so, Carol, since we're talking about having Dr. Natasha on, and when Howard gets on, checking Howard's sound, since I think he'll be in the bathroom where he has the best sound, because I'm going to let it out now. Howard has no internet. I'm tired of hiding this secret. He just doesn't. So we go with it at that point. And everybody knows it. So, hi, Linda's mom. See, I get to say hi to Linda's mom before Linda does. Yeah. And that's always a good thing. So, and then I will talk to Mark. So, Carol, take it away because I need some water.
Oh, it is so great to be here. Yeah, I would love to introduce Dr. Natasha Weems. She is a dear friend, and she is a powerhouse. She takes a stand for empowering Black women. She has a podcast. She is an active licensed nurse in nursing and healthcare. She also is a red carpet interviewer and does multiple red carpets. So definitely we'll be able to relate to you, Terry, and the red carpet you're on, Linda Steele. And she's a lovely, lovely human being, just a caring, compassionate, intelligent woman, and somebody that I consider a close friend and a wonderful leader.
The fun thing about that one is you can't go wrong with that. I mean, that's the good thing about having strong women. And then since Howard is not here yet, so Paul, we get to talk about you because you're the person who's responsible of putting Howard's billboard in Nashville, Tennessee.
That's right.
You've done a lot of things. Yes, that one. And I like that because we were talking not too long ago, and I was thinking of, I'm going to let this one out. I was thinking of having all the hosts on a billboard and doing that, but I just haven't picked the city yet. I'm wondering, and Paul will give us more information on that. That would be great. Carol, Linda, Steele, Terry, wouldn't you like to have your billboard in one specific city that I haven't chosen yet? Wouldn't that be
I
nice?
love that.
Yeah.
Well,
Paul is responsible for that, and Paul's going to talk about those things because he's done a lot of great things. And then, Paul, I cut you off. Go ahead and say what you want to say, and then I'm going to introduce Mark Carter.
It's an amazing location. That specific billboard is just so well situated that literally the whole city gets to see it. It's an amazing project that went up recently. So it's a very new billboard, and it's being widely used by communities. So it's really worthwhile looking at.
And the thing about what, all you guys have done a lot of things. It's so hard to get to what everybody's done and have so many people on, which is why we have a couple one-person shows coming up because they've been on before or twice, and now we get a chance to deep dive into them. Dr. Natasha has a lot of that, all the stuff that she's done. Once you can do your philanthropy and advocacy to things and mental health wellness, that's important. You can just right there. And then with Paul, when you've done stuff, designing showrooms, which is what I like what you're doing. We're in the toy world. He does, at one point, toy distributors and all of those things. But whether it was Disney, Hasbro, Martell, or Marvel, I understand all that. Plus photography. And he knows about radio hosting and the culinary arts. And, I'm taking away Howard's theme here because he should be doing that because it's his friend. And then we have...
Where is our Howard? Yeah.
Brian, will you send me the link? I send a link to everybody at the same time. It's always something, and that's a lot. So, Mark Carter, live from Chicago, probably next to Linda Steele someplace. Mark, I'm going to have you introduce yourself because I love throwing the spot on people because it's a lot to do these things. Mark, take it away. Tell us where you're coming from and who you are.
Coming from Chicago, been before the pandemic, 20 years in the live events industry. The big thing is different about me is I tried keynote speaking when I was in my 20s, was not great at it, didn't like it, but I do love interviews. So when I'm on stage, it would be like you and I talking about Hollywood or the business of Hollywood. We'd involve the audience. I have an improv background, all that good stuff up to the pandemic. It crashed. Now I help speakers and authors create sizzle reels. And I'm very happy that I am getting back into 2-hour and 4-hour live event packages. Like I said, the big difference is I'm an interviewer. I'm there to let people share their stories, let their voice be heard, amplify that voice at events and through video afterwards. And I'm really excited, at least in Chicago, and it looks like New York, getting back into live events.
And that's the great thing when it comes to that, too. Now, Carol, let's go into Dr. Natasha because it's not about being a Black woman. It's about being a strong woman. And that's what she has. And I'm sure she can agree with that. She just happens to be, hey, I'm Black. Not really. I'm really white and Indian. If you want to get into it, that's really what I am. Right? But you know what? When I walk into the room, I know what it's like to be the only one in there. So I kind of melt in. Dr. Natasha, it's great to have you here. Let's talk about you. What makes you so important that Carol begged me? I mean, she didn't really beg me. I said, we got to have her on. And it was important because all you women are very, very strong. And that's the important part about the more movie reviews and more. I love having strong women on. I don't feel you guys get your due.
Brian, I also want to bring up, Dr. Natasha is also a Dining Diva California. So she is in that exclusive selective group with Kim Pearson, Susan Irby, Justine Reese, Karina Christmas, who also we get to have on at some point, and just shines. And I got to meet them at the Easy Way Oscars Gala last year. And, you were there with me. I don't think that I had you connected with Dr. Natasha at that point, but
no, Carol didn't interrupt. She didn't introduce me to you. That
was busy. An amazing event, by the way.
It was good, actually. But the thing I say about that, I like the Dining Divas. Carol turned me on to them, and I met them. I'm like, who are these strange women? There's like 6 or 7 of them, and now we've become good friends. You know who should be a Dining Diva, Carol? You know who should be in with Susan with the recipe
bikini chef?
Linda Steele and her daughter. I was thinking about it because it would be perfect and I believe they're going to Chicago. I mean, with Linda's body and Demi's body, I mean, never mind that. It's about Macrame, their meals. I could see that. I was just picturing that in my mind. I don't know why I didn't think about that.
I'm pretty sure Dining Divas has, Dr. Natasha, correct me. I know they have a Texas branch. That's where one of the places they started in Florida. And I believe they have a Chicago branch too. Yeah.
I know for sure we already have California, we have Florida, New York, Texas, and yes, Florida is where it all, originated. So Dining Divas, they're an amazing group of women full of support, and they're doing really major things. Everyone is working on their projects, but collectively, they're just really showing, sisterhood and sticking together for a greater cause. But I just love the way how they connect and support each other. So it's been an amazing experience with the Divas.
And
on that.
That would be awesome. That would be a really beautiful fit. Dr. Natasha, talk to us about your podcast.
My podcast, Unboxed and Fearless. I think that it's really important for us to be out in the community, connecting with people. Also, like he said, giving people an opportunity to feel like they're heard, to amplify voices, and also to feel unboxed. For many years, being in the healthcare sector for 20 plus years, a nurse practitioner, and also servicing the underserved population, it was always easy for people to not understand fully why I transitioned to entertainment, just wondering why I don't stay in my role as a mother, as a wife, as a nurse practitioner, a medical provider. But it's important for representation. And so, yes, like he said, not only for Black women or only for women of color, but for women in general, just showing how we can wear many hats, how we can be multifaceted and also be resilient. So that is what Unboxed and Fearless is all about and how it started. So it's a mixture of in-studio podcast interviews. I just did a really nice sit-down interview with Richard Lawson and his 50 plus year journey in the entertainment industry. It was amazing because he has so much knowledge. But what I not only talk about is entertainment, I have that merged in a conversation of health and wellness and mental health. So when my guests are on, I ask them about what that resilience looked like and also highlight mental health awareness and their personal battles, if they would feel comfortable to share. I also cover red carpet as well at different, events like the Easy Way, Oscar viewing, some of the, events, movie premieres. I'm always out in the community. So yes, I was at the Grammy Hall of Fame. Love The Skin You're In. That was an amazing movie premiere. And it's always exciting to connect and have those conversations because, we glamorize success. We glamorize the entertainment sector. But what we don't do is focus enough on the process and that resilience and what that looks like. So mental health is the process. We need to, have those meaningful conversations. And I'm just so excited to be here. Obviously, you can tell that I'm very compassionate about this topic. So thank you for having me. There's so many different ways where we can amplify voices, and Unboxed and Fearless podcast is just one of them.
Hey, Mark, I'm coming to you in a minute. And Paul, hey, Linda Steele, since you're in Chicago where Mark is always looking for people to interview. I think one of his go-to, he wants to interview The Rock. So supposedly I'm still down. I think it's February 16th. He's getting an Icon Award in Hollywood to do that. So I'll run into, my old friend. I haven't seen him in a while because he's a father now and he's concentrating more on his daughters in the WWE and things like that. But he's always looking for people to interview. And I'm like, you got to start here with certain people and then make your way around, because the whole interviewing process, and Dr. Natasha and Carol can talk to you about that. And even Linda has changed. Linda, tell everybody who you are, where you're coming from, and what you do with your daughter, and say hi to your mom. Okay.
Hi, Mom. My daughters are on too. One of my daughters just said, "We love you, Nona." So everybody's watching. Hi, I'm Linda Steele. Hey, there he is. Hey, Howard. Welcome.
Hey, Howard.
Hi, Howard.
I'm Linda Steele. I'm from Chicago, born and raised. And talk about wearing many hats. I've always been that girl, always. So just some things on my resume. I'm an internationally best-selling author with my book called Nerves of Steel. It's about childhood trauma and how it translates into your adult relationships. I also have been in the fitness industry for over 20 years. Started as a personal trainer at way back when it was Bally's, if you guys remember that. That's how far we go back. And I was a nationally recognized personal trainer. I was the #1 female trainer nationwide out of 4,500 trainers. I was the #1 female trainer. And I held that spot for several years. But then I went off on my own and I opened up my own gym. And then I opened up another gym in the Chicagoland area. And I owned those gyms for several years and about almost 10 years. And from then, my daughter and my daughter actually started a company called Macro Made Meals. It's a meal prep company. And it was such a great story. My clients were watching us meal prep on the weekends, my daughters and I as a family. And my clients were like, hey, will you make our meals? And I said, absolutely not. And my daughter said, I will. And she started a business just by doing that. And it's going very well. We service the Chicagoland area. We also ship to the surrounding states, and we keep very busy with that. I sold my gyms, and I wound up with my clients at another gym in just outside Chicago. It's called Hamilton Lakes Athletic Club, and I am now the senior operations manager. So when they brought me on, I was just going to walk in the door as a personal trainer, and they knew my background, they knew my story, and they said, hey, do you think that you could make our gym profitable? And I said, I'm sure going to try. And so they took me on as a consultant and then hired me as a senior operations manager. And we are turning a profit and we are stoked about it.
Nice.
See, isn't that great?
Yeah.
So, Mark, hold that thought because you've got 3 women right there, including Terry. And then the other thing about that is wait till you hear Howard's story and Paul's story. So when you're always looking for people, this is enough to keep you going for 7 weeks right here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I was right. And that's not even counting coffee talk with Rachel because she's out, or Natasha. All right, so Howard Wiggins. All right, Howard, I told a little bit about you, about the secret of everybody today. Let's see if we can hear Howard. So, all right, Howard, tell everybody. Oh, yeah. You know, how you don't have internet. How you don't have internet.
Secret to tell, Brian.
That's the secret.
Have Paul tell the secret. So I won't tell the wrong secret.
Okay. All right. Let's
Have
check
Paul
his
tell the
internet.
secret.
No, but hey, I want you to tell everybody.
Can you hear
I want
me?
you to tell the guests. Yeah, I want you to tell the guests who you are, where you're coming from.
Oh, Howard Wiggins, Nashville, Tennessee. I'm interior designer, and Paul's my friend, and he's going to tell you whatever secret they're supposed to be told.
All right, Paul. Okay, so Paul, tell everybody about the billboards, a little about your career and how you started, because you have a magical eye when we talked about things, and you know what you're doing when it comes to marketing, which I think is fascinating.
Right. Well, basically, you know, I've spent a lifetime doing a lot of campaigns for a lot of significant companies around the world. And I wanted to do something for myself, and I wanted to support other people's dreams. So what I've been doing is selecting individual celebrities and building portfolios of them and putting them out in the world in a different way, but using the acumen that I have built up over the years. So I put that into creative aspects. It doesn't matter what the creative aspect is, you know, whether I'm working on location on a film or whether I'm shooting photographs of Howard Wiggins in his design environment. It's there really to support people. So I just want to present people and the dreams that they live in, and give them the best shot at reaching the dream that they want, at the same time as creating my own, which is to work in this industry with people.
Yeah. Well, the photographs that you have, that Howard has been posting, that you have been taking of him, in alongside the fabulous billboard photo. I mean, they're just outstanding. They're interesting. You're drawn in. Your photos very much tell a story. And it's been really lovely getting to know you and the work you do, Paul.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that. Look, I'm very lucky. I spent the first 20 years of my young adult life working for about 16 different magazines. And so, I picked up a lot of experience along the way in terms of how do you take iconic shots of people and how do you use them in marketing platforms. So I'm really just doing that now individually for people instead of just companies. And for me, that it's rewarding. I get to meet people. I get to be on a show like this. It's about reaching out and touching lives. So it's very important to me.
So, Mark, talk about what you've heard so far, because again, going back to what you've done some things from TEDx, if I remember correctly, and as that speaker also, because Paul is that too. But also, there's always, you never know who you're going to run into when you can't see them in person. And I think Dr. Natasha knows that, and Terry knows that too, when we can't get to certain people. Talk about what you really want to do. And like I said, I didn't get a chance to meet you in person in Vancouver because I couldn't make it. But I'm glad that we become friends. He'll call me or text me, hey, we have 10 or 20 minutes to talk. And I never say no to people because you never know who you're inspired. You never know what's going to happen on the other end. And again, I'm glad that everybody can make it on the show because it's never easy putting these things together.
Well, I hear a lot of big ideas coming to life, a lot of awesome stories. And I mean, that's what I do when I interview guests for my podcast. They pick one zone of genius. This is how I brought a big idea to life. It's inspiring and it's backed by action oriented. Here's what you can do too. Not just here's a big story, but here's how I did marketing the right way. Here's how I found the right mentors. Here's how I did branding. Whatever they did to bring that big idea to life, that's what I focus on, learning from people. And it's awesome because I get to learn from people too. I mean, it's just absolutely awesome. It's like getting a PhD and bringing big ideas to life. Every guest adds another piece of the puzzle, another piece of the puzzle, another piece of the puzzle. And now I've networked my way out into LA, started in Hollywood about, what does it look like a career? Because if you're an actor, working actor in Hollywood, that's a career. You're an entrepreneur. You're building a business. And I think there's a tie into the regular business world. So that's what the interviews I've started recording recently have been about too, networking my way out to LA and Hollywood.
Now, Terry, talk about what you like, because you like doing red carpets. I mean, the reason I let you do that is I like to look from a distance. Yeah, I let you do that because I hate doing it. That's why. That's the real reason. But I like looking at you doing it because all of a sudden she turns into like another person and she enjoys doing it. And then she'll look at me and say, do I look good? And I'm like, I'm not looking at her. I'm looking at what she's doing. I'm looking at how things are being created, how they do like to come and talk to them. That's what I like to see. And that's what's most important to me, because there's some people, and maybe Dr. Natasha knows this, they won't come up and talk to you sometimes. The publicists will drag them away if they don't know who you are or if they don't think you're big enough. Harry doesn't have that problem.
There's an art to conversation. I mean, as Natasha, I'm also in the world of healthcare. I work in orthopedics, but I'm on the sales and marketing side, but I have a degree in psychology. So I know how people tick. I know how to talk to people. I know how to present to people. And so a lot of times, I don't think I've ever said this, but a lot of times when I'm on the red carpet, I'll use my sales skills to talk to people, because there's a certain way to talk to people to get them to open up. And it is a talent. Not everybody can do it. And it's really hard to do it with medical professionals, especially because you got to be on your ball. And the doctors have because I work with surgeons in orthopedics, and they have a really tiny window that they're going to give you to talk and get your point across really quickly because they're so busy, if that makes any sense. But actually, I'm a big ham. I'm a peacock. I've been acting and modeling all stuff like my whole life. I'm a fitness person as well, fitness junkie. I've competed in fitness competitions. I've won several NPC contests. I was Fitness LA winner. So I've just, I have that in me, I guess. I like to do lots of things. That's why I nicknamed myself Nonstop, because I'm always doing something. And I love entertaining people, and I love entertaining, and I love to hear about other stories of entertaining, if that makes sense. Any sense there. So
Linda Steele. I've got you in mind, because what I like to do when I see Linda in person, I'm going to drag her and purposely in front of people, because one, she deserves it, but two, I like to shock people, because the first thing they see is like, wow, she's really in shape. Like they've never seen someone in shape before, but Linda's got a different type of shape. She is Barbie minus the blonde hair, but the thing is, she has good marketing skills, and she knows what it's like to do, to have a big, huge following and have it hacked. And that can be frustrating for us, especially when it comes down to women and people pretending to be you, right, Linda?
Yeah, I'll say. I don't even know how many social media accounts hacked. My Facebook was hacked with 480,000 followers. Instagram was hacked at 200,000, another one at 75,000. I've started over so many times. As of right now, I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn, and I have my own personal Facebook. It's so difficult to manage all of them anyway. I got off of TikTok. There's so much. There's so much to do, to babysit, and to manage. It's a full-time job. At one point, I hired somebody to do it for me, and that was working out great, but just even giving them content was work. It's a lot of work.
And Carol, what a lot of work is by doing that too, because Carol will talk about it when she's in the US. I'll call her and we'll talk about these things, because everything keeps changing. Nothing is the same, unfortunately. So Linda, if you think back to it, she will go back to be one of the original ones that had a huge following in the mid-teens. That's what Linda goes back to. And then things, the corporations and companies started to figure out, we better change these things, because certainly people are starting to make money, and the corporations always want to put their hands into things. Right, Dr. Natasha, you know what that's like. And that's not fair, and that's not fun. And that could bring into depression and like, why do I have to start again? I had this. I have to start again. You throw your hands up, and then you just go, why do I even bother?
You just feel
Yes. Congratulations, Linda, for having that resilience and that determination to start again. I think that, there's nothing better we can do in life, because it's when we stop trying that we fail. Yeah. And as long as we're going again, then absolutely the success is.
I just don't understand why people want to hack these accounts anyway. I really don't. I don't know if it's just to aggravate.
It's jealousy. Jealousy and envy.
It's to ransom too, because I had mine hacked in 2020 as well. I haven't talked about it that much, but the same thing happened to me. And then I was getting like, if you want, your account back or whatever. And then they're like, if you don't pay us money, we're going to erase your video. So a lot of it's a scam just to try to get money.
My Twitter was hacked too. My Twitter was hacked at, I don't know.
You had a huge following on your Twitter. Yeah. You had over 250,000 on Twitter when it was popular.
Yep. I did. I forgot about that. But again, I understand. Like you said, jealousy, whatever. Hold it hostage. It's whatever. But again, I don't understand. I just don't know why people have to be like that. I have a kind heart, so I have a hard time understanding anybody else who doesn't. So I stopped trying to understand why people do what they do.
You can't. You'll drive yourself crazy. Yeah. Brian knows I just had this conversation with Brian earlier about trying to understand like why people do the things that they do that are so unethical, and you just can't.
Hey, Brian, can we have our own little podcast about that? Why people do what they do? That's
that would be a good idea, because I have a lot of examples in there.
I'll make that happen, because that is important. It's kind of why we had last week's show like that, just talking amongst us. It's a rarity, because we don't get the chance, because everybody wants to come on. And I'm like, I just left it open because we had to talk. Yeah. Here's the thing, and I've never been hacked, but I get criticized for, you're not a black outlet. Well, no, I'm not. You don't have music and movie reviews and more. No, it's not, but it's in the more part. You don't talk about fitness. I had the toy industry the other day, Carol, say, you don't talk about toys. We're always talking about everything. It's just a matter of we run out of time to talk about everything. It's not that it's not there. So I just get tired of these things after a while. And Dr. Natasha, you know what it's like when you go into mental health wellness and then having your child who may have autistic. I mean, that's not important when it comes to that. This is the real important things, isn't it? It's about your family, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, when you work really hard to build your platform, I can understand how challenging that could be. But yeah, just going day to day and trying to inspire people. Myself, I also am an author of, The Unbreakable Woman, Embracing Resilience in Every Season. And I just try to inspire people, regardless of what barriers you encounter in life, to, stay optimistic and find resources, build your tribe, find ways where you can stay positive. We're in a world where there's so many things happening globally. You just have to find your support and know where to access that support as well. So, these are trying times, but I can't understand how that could be frustrating. But, you keep your faith, you keep going, stay positive, and you too will, have a positive outcome in that regard. So.
Yeah. My sister's suggesting that we have people like you on, Natasha, and then have some people who are mean and jerks, and we just try to find out both sides. Like, why? What makes you that way when you could be so happy and so positive and what makes you so angry and want to put somebody down and miserable? Because there are people like that who are so happy and again you brought faith into it, and there's so many things to be grateful for. So
a lot of it, just coming from a psych background, because it's where my education's from. It's a lot of it's their own trauma and how they're dealing with certain issues. So a lot of times they're projecting stuff that they don't actually like about themselves. Then you've got people that are just truly narcissists that don't really see what they're doing wrong, or they might be antisocial. So you really don't know what's going on with that person and why they're lashing out or doing these things. But a lot of it's coming in with like things they're dealing with their inside. That's why, I try to, Brian said, what other people think about you is none of your business. I always love that line, because you're not going to make everybody happy. And a lot of times, you just almost like I try to feel sorry for people when they do this kind of stuff, because it's coming within them. It's coming from maybe something they don't like about themselves, maybe some trauma from their childhood. So, that's really where it's coming from. And it's really sad, because there's so much opportunities for everybody in this world if you just focus on those things. And if everybody would just focus on opportunities they have, instead of being jealous of other people or worrying about other people are doing, how much better we'd all be.
and that's what leads to Paul, because the saying that Terry's talking about is you have no business knowing what other people think about you, but because you have to trick your subconscious into saying, oh, you'll be okay. But if you think about it, no, then your brain gets into the neuroscience of narrow coach of Carol at that point. That's what she really can focus in on. But Paul, when you were homeless at 15, what kept you going, and what did you find interesting about Howard? Because Howard is boring. He's never happy or anything like that.
Listen, Howard is a character, and he's a very difficult man to keep up with, because, I've been tailing Howard for the last week, and I can promise you this, it exhausted me. I'm used to running around, but Howard works at a rate that I found it hard to keep up with him. And he really immerses himself into his passion, which is interior design. And so he looks at every facet of that. And what was great about that was to follow him around and actually capture that photographically. Because what I'm doing is I'm creating photographic stories on people. And Howard is just so diverse. So he's a wonderful subject matter. He's become a great friend. And we're going to be doing a lot more down the line. We've got projects lined up for the new year. But for me, coming off the streets, what it did for me was it gave me wisdom. So, being so young and being out there on the streets at 15, living with prostitutes, it gave me a real lesson about what life really is about. And, we live in a very complex world now. It was much less complex then to what it is now, because social media and the technology has moved so far ahead. But for me personally, what I like to do every day is show up and give people a reason to think about the choices they make. And so I try and encourage people to make better choices. And I try and reflect that in the work and the people I work with.
Howard, what did you find interesting about Paul? Because to me, it sounds like you guys met someplace. He came up and said, I'm sure he didn't say, how would you like to have a billboard? But I'm sure somewhere around that way it happened, right, Howard?
Well, Paul's kind of like my Colonel Parker to Elvis Presley. I couldn't be who I am without Colonel Parker. So Paul's my Colonel Parker. But I, like you said, I'm a character. Everybody knows that. I like to dress. I like to dance. I like to do interior design. I do everything. But he coordinates it. So he puts it together where I can actually make money doing it and get a following and lead me in a different direction. So he's kind of like my guidance to what's going to come next and kind of directing me to where I need to go. The billboard came about because we did the Blues Peddlers event and Paul got them on the billboard. And then it was my idea. I thought, well, no interior designer's ever been on a billboard. Mainly it's been like lawyers, and lawyers became very, very famous by putting their billboard up. And I thought, well, just like anything else, the first person to do it is the first person that's going to make the money. So I want to be that first person. And it is taking on blockbusters. I mean, I bet in a month's time, I won't even I'll look back on this and say, my God, why didn't I do it earlier? But
the good thing about that is that, so my second, Linda and Terry know that Edie Hannah's my first Southern mom. My second Southern mom is Lois. She created, Lois Riggins.
We love Lois.
Mm-hmm. Well, she said, she called me specifically and said, that Howard Wiggins is a hoot. I don't know how he does it. And Brian, but he was so happy. It's like his career's been resurrected again. And so the last couple of weeks, Paul, Howard has been overly, or what Howard Wiggins would normally be, which is great. So I like that. But she said great things. So here's a woman who created the Nashville Museum of Arts and Sciences there. She was with him for 45 plus years, and she's 86 years old. And I talk to my second Southern mom almost every day. And but the wisdom that she has was just wonderful. So when she says someone is wonderful like Howard, that makes me feel good, because it's about promoting people on movie reviews and more. Which leads back to Howard. You have to tell everybody, see people like Mark and Dr. Natasha, what your background is, because they don't know you from Adam.
Well, I'm son of Little Roy Wiggins, plays steel guitar with Eddie Arnold. Where actually I live in Brentwood, and Brentwood was founded because of a promise that Eddie Arnold made to my father. When he was started with playing with Eddie Arnold at age 13, he promised my dad he would never have to go anywhere else. He would stay with him. Well, Eddie Arnold's music started to go when he made Make the World Go Away and went more popular music. So they started the Arnold Company in Brentwood. So it was basically my dad's connection with the Opry and Eddie Arnold's money that kind of launched Brentwood, because Eddie had a lot of property here. That's where we lived. And Dad got all the stars to move out here. On the street that I lived on was Ralph Emery, Skeeter Davis, Bobby Lloyd, Stu Phillips, Jim Ed Brown. I mean, just everybody. So Ralph Emery. So all those people came to Brentwood, and it kind of gave Brentwood is cliche to be a high-end community. So that's how that's done.
And so for the audience, people listening on the audio side of KH4DH radio, that's the Grand Ole Opry, which is what he was talking about. So Eddie Arnold and his dad starting that. So again, going back to Mark, there you are. When you're looking for people to interview, just come to Movie Review some more. I'll hook you up.
Sounds good.
Right, Mark? Hey, Mark, so what are you grateful for, and why should people be on your podcast show?
I'm grateful for being fortunate enough to have the guests that I like. And like I said, it's all about finding a story, finding your voice, and then amplifying it to teach other people and encourage other people to have big ideas. Let them know, it might seem like a crazy dream right now, but, he did it, she did it, he did it, she did it. That's the biggest thing that I look for, is people who can inspire and encourage people to take action, not just say, oh, look how great I am now. It's like, no, what's the story? What's the road look like? How did you get there? What did you overcome? What did you do? How did you make your big idea come to life?
So for Carol, for Mark and Paul's sake, you get to tell them who you are. And I think you're on mute. Carol.
You're on mute.
I guess you didn't know.
You're doing a Howard right now.
No, no mute. No mute.
There you are. There you are.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. There's a delay. I would love to hear more about your background, Paul. That is incredible what you just briefly touched on. I am a wealth coach who takes women at 6 figures to 7+ figures. I take a strong stand for empowering women financially. And we start off with an incredible retreat to wealth at my boutique retreat estate in the Andes Mountains in southern Chile. I'm in 6 countries, and I absolutely am passionate about what I do.
Right. Well, that's wonderful. I support that kind of thing because, you know, I've been very lucky. I've been very lucky to grow up without an education, but be educated in the various fields that I got to work in. And I had really significant people teaching me. Mm-hmm. So through the years, I've just learned how to use that wisely, understanding the world that we operate in. I've had the good fortune of seeing the contrast of what it's like at the bottom of the rung and seeing what it's like at the top. And so I do a lot of motivational speaking. I go around to schools and I talk about addiction awareness. I talk about behavior patterns. And for 15 years or so, I got involved in recovery cases and rehabilitation for minors. And it's close to my heart. I don't like to see people hurt. It's just, how do you get to put the best of yourself into your life? And for me, that gives meaning and purpose, helping people.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Paul has actually saved people's lives in crisis situations. So mention that, Paul.
No, that's true. I was called in normally during cases that couldn't be solved and had to literally go into very strange areas, navigate them, and pull people out. So I have been doing that for a multiple of years.
Hey, Paul, how did you get into billboards? How did that happen?
Well, you see, the whole thing is I grew up in the media industry. So, you know, when I left home and I eventually got a job, I got employed as a paste-up artist for a magazine. And that led to many different creative outlets for me, where eventually I became a radio host. I've done photography. I've done directing for parts of movies. I've built sets for TV. It just creatively led me into the creative world. And I found a way to utilize that acumen to go alongside what it is I teach, because the best way to teach is by example. And when somebody knows that you come off the street and you don't have an education and you manage to get yourself up to a high level, you know, people want to follow that. They then see it as becoming a possibility. And so I use myself as a platform for that and all the people I work with.
Yeah. Hey, Dr. Natasha, talk about, you, of what I've seen. And I do remember you. I just didn't get a chance to talk to you at Easy Way for the gala last year during the Oscars, is that you can shine on the red carpet. Talk about what that feeling is like for you.
Yeah.
You know what I enjoy.
See that? She had a smile come to her face already.
No, because it's interesting, the feedback that I have. People tell me that they realize how much I light up. Mm-hmm. And I do. I feel alive. I really do. But really, I've been interviewing people my entire life, my entire adult life, because essentially when you're a healthcare provider, it's an interview. you're interviewing your patients, you're trying to figure out what's the underlying issue behind their, their concerns or why they present for the day, how to provide solutions. And I get to carry that over on the red carpet. I get to help people feel like they can break those self-imposed limitations whenever they're feeling insecure or overwhelmed and not feeling confident to get on the mic or in front of the camera. I get to be that person that help calms their nervous system. So yeah, for me, it's an easy transition. Although it seems like two different worlds, entertainment and healthcare, it intersects for me. So I'm glad that I'm able to be in a space where I can cross so many paths, so many people from different walks of life, but also be a positive representation and show people from my community, underserved communities, to know that they can be in any room because they deserve to be there. Yeah. You absolutely deserve to be in any room that God placed you in.
Remember when Linda, remember when you first came to Hollywood and you were on that red carpet? It was funny. I purposely go and I will go and hide because I want to look for it in the corner. And I'm like, it's fun to see when they come and you get a chance to shine. What was that feeling like for you, Linda?
Well, I just felt so important. It just was so crazy that somebody wanted to interview me. I didn't know I was that interesting. So when, was it Trixie who interviewed
Trixie, me? I think so.
Yeah. And she was so great and she made me feel so comfortable. She asked, because then you get nervous, like, oh my gosh, what if they ask me something that I can't answer? What if they, stump me? But she just did such a great job with, making me feel comfortable and knew exactly what to ask and knew what was going to make me shine. And that was one of my most favorite experiences ever. And that was the first time that I had that experience. So that was
fun to see happen. I was purposely hiding it. I was way, way back. I just wanted to go hide behind a curtain, literally. And I couldn't been happy. That's what I like to do. I like to put those people out there and give them the recognition that they deserve, because that's fun for me to see. And I love that. And then Carol, for you, go ahead, Linda. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think you sent me that picture not long ago. I'm gonna have to find it again. I was wearing my shirt that said flawless.
Yes, it did work. And then we got a couple minutes left. But Carol, what was that like for you when you came out and you had your own event with Heather Mariana at the Emmys? Because I was looking away, I'm trying to hide. It's hard for a Black person to hide, but I was doing my best. And I wanted to make sure that Carol got her due because it was fun to see people coming up to her at her table. I thought that was great.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. It was interesting. It's a learning process. The red carpet is, because for me, I felt like I had to pose and it was when, like, it was Susan Irby, honestly, who was saying, no, just relax, just smile, just be there, be yourself. And that was like, oh yeah, okay, it's not a thing, right? It's something that you actually can enjoy, presenting yourself as you are to the world, which I absolutely love, reaching out to the people that I serve. I mean, that's my whole world. That's my heart, right? So it was really special. Thank you for asking that.
Give them your social media links so they can follow you, subscribe, and like to you.
At NeuroCoach Carol on Instagram, but you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. Haven't done much on Twitter lately. All of it at Carol Register.
Terry?
Terry Marie Nonstop on pretty much all platforms.
And make sure you subscribe and like to what they're always doing, especially Nonstop Terry Marie. Mark Carter, last words for you. What was it like for you being on the red carpet when you went to Deb Drummond's?
We didn't do a red carpet event, but we did the VIP after party and a little bit of the pre-party. So I got to meet some amazing people, the sponsors, the people making things happen for her son, all that good stuff. It was an awesome crowd of people.
Oh, wow.
And it's important, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. We have to thank Deb Drummond because she's coming up pretty soon too, which is good.
Yeah, Ocean's clothes. Yeah, I gotta put a shout out for Ocean, her son Ocean's streetwear line. Get some. It is awesome.
Mark, social media links for everybody so they can like and subscribe and follow you.
Best one to follow me on. My YouTube handle is Mark J. Carter. Easy to remember. Mark J. Carter on YouTube.
Howard Wiggins, social media
Howard
links.
Wiggins Facebook, Howard Wiggins Interior Design, also on Facebook. And you can connect to me even with Paul's.
Yeah, that's right. And Paul, so what is yours for people? I know you got an Instagram there.
Yeah, we've got an Instagram account. It's Paul Smit Unfiltered. Otherwise, you can just go to Facebook, look up Paul Smit. I've got various pages on Facebook.
Linda Steele, social media links for everybody, and you name that gym where you are right now.
Linda Steele Wellness, the gym I'm at now. It's in Itasca, Hamilton Lakes Athletic Club. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, and I'm also on YouTube.
And so, Mark, when you go interview her, she's going to make you do 20 push-ups and sit-ups.
Of course.
Perfect.
And Dr. Natasha, you get the last word. Social media links. Talk about your book really quickly and how people can reach out to you.
Sure. You can reach me at Dr. Natasha _ on Instagram, and my website is Dr. Natasha the NP, and that stands for Nurse Practitioner. And the book is Unbreakable Woman, Embracing Resilience in Every Season. And it's all about a journey of being a military spouse, because obviously military speaks about PTSD, being a mother of a child on the spectrum. And I just love to inspire those. As I said, I've come from the inner city. So even inspiring those that are from situations that can be overwhelming, the underserved population, I've built food distribution programs. So all of that is in the book, The Road of Resilience, because what you go through will not break you. Keep your power, keep your resilience, keep your strength. And that is me.
That's a lot of people. Hey, so got to thank everybody, because again, never easy putting this together, no matter where we are, whether you're in sole career. I'm going to start, I told Terry this today, I'm going to start playing a guessing game. Where is Brian now? What county? What country? Because even I'm starting to get lost now. And Mark, thank you for your patience coming on. Howard, thank you for having decent sound. Paul, we have to have you back. I can't wait for that, because we got to know more about how we can get our billboards up. And I always say to everybody, have a good night tonight, a better day tomorrow. You see someone without a smile, please to give them one of yours, because the world needs it. I'm Brian Sebastian. You guys are movie reviews and more, the more part for those people who are doubters. Yes, there is a more part that covers everything, from the toy world to the fitness world. Right, Linda? Right, Carol? Paul, you know that too.
Right.
Thank everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thanks so much.